Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me by now, my name is Najira, and today's video is going to be short and sweet. Today we're talking about how to get an 850 or greater on your exit competency exam for nursing school. Okay, quick 5 tips on how to get an 850 or better on your Hesi Exit exam. Number 1, I recommend just take notes. The class is pretty much a review of everything that you've learned. So I like to keep cute little like notepads like this. I found this in Marshall's for like $4. Just something that, you know, is cute and friendly or is up to your taste. Or if you're more of a plain Jane, there's also just the plain notebooks like that. That would just allow you to stay on track and keep notes. In the real world, it's busy, so you can't expect yourself to remember every little thing, but the boards will. So take notes and review them. Now, you're like, Najira, but what am I going to take notes on? Okay, so the top 2 things that I recommend for passing the exit exam are Hurst and the Hesi Comprehensive Review, which I have both in front of me right here. So let's start with Hurst. So Hurst Review, the package I actually got this through my school, but later on, before taking the exam, I repurchased Hurst because I got this during my Med-Surg 2. So I got this like 6 months before capstone. So basically, this is a little book, and when you open it, it breaks down each section by the subject, like maternity, peds, leadership and management, psych, etc. So every subject that you learn in the nursing school, there's even some A&P in here in case you forgot. So I think, my opinion, some of the toughest, some of the most difficult content, were fluid and electrolytes, and pharmacology. So like Med-Surg, fluid and electrolytes, that was heavy content for me. Like, that was really hard to grasp. There was just so much involved in it. And then, psych, pharmacology, like those were all, there weren't too many psych questions on my exam, but just the pharmacology, like you need to know a good amount of your drug. With lightheadedness, weakness, lethargy, and overall malaise, they could have potentially had morning medications, which they informed you is metoprolol, 50 milligrams BID. What other symptoms would you expect, or what should you keep by the bedside? Like, that'll kind of be how your questions are worded. So if you don't know what metoprolol is, or they like to test you on antibiotics. They love antibiotics. If you don't know your antibiotics, you're in trouble. So Hurst is really good about that. They break down the subjects. They'll teach you drugs. They'll teach you pediatrics. That's hard for a lot of people. And then you can test yourself over it. You can go back and open the workbook and be like, I want to study cardiac. And it's all there. And it's great because it's sectioned off. They also have a Q bank. So maybe those of you who are in capstone, you know what Q bank or UWorld, which I'll get to that in a second. Review questions. Review questions is the key. Because the more you see them worded in different ways, but you understand what they're asking, then you'll be like, okay, I know how to answer this question, so I know that this can't be the answer. So it's process of elimination. You understand. The Hesi wants to know that you understand, 1, how to keep patients safe, because that's what board's going to test you on, and 2, do you understand the content, even if I ask you in 4 different ways? Do you know what's priority and what's not? What's life-threatening and what can wait? So with that, speaking of questions, the Hesi Comprehensive Review, this is the latest edition, so it's the 6th edition. If you open it, it's only 300 pages, front to back, not counting the index, but the information is about 300 pages, which is not bad. I think it's definitely doable, 10 pages a day. Just learn how to break it down. And for instance, if you know respiratory, maybe skim through that section, but don't spend too much time on it, because if you know you have a certain subject down and you did pretty well in it during school, just brush through it, do what you need to do, take some questions, see how you do, and then move on to what you're actually weak in. Because Hesi plays off your weaknesses. But I like this because you open it up. It's kind of like your med-surg book, because once again, the Hesi is heavy in med-surg. If you don't know your med-surg, you're in trouble. There's these cute little excerpts called Hesi Hints that will be like, hey, remember when a patient has a cast, you know, remember to, if they complain of pain, remember to assess like their pulses. Ask them if they can move their toes or their distal extremities, you know, things like that, to, you know, to where the cast is applied. So things like that. It'll just be like nice little reminders. And Hesi will test you over that. And it's important because Hesi are the people that write the Hesi competency exam, which most of us have to pass to get out of the program. So what a better resource than the people who actually write your tests. There's an app on the phone. I'm going to show you guys really quick. It's called UWorld. They have those test questions, and you really quick. You can select how many questions. I do set to 20. Repetition is key with these questions, and I like it because it's on your phone. So most of us always have our phone in our hands anyway. So you can get on and just do a quick 20 questions. Those of you who will get 5 or 6s on UWorlds, because they're difficult, Kaplan is pretty difficult too, which is why they have conversion charts for their stuff. But Kaplan and UWorld, just do questions. And you can even select the category with UWorld that you want to do. They'll give you different categories like cardiovascular, adult health, pediatrics, based on what you want to test yourself over. And so repetition is just key. And honestly, 75 questions a day. I know for me, the exam was my 9th week. We got 2 attempts. So it was week 9 and week 11. So by the time you get there, you'll be good. So I recommend about 75 a day. If you're like, Nigeria, that's too much. Okay, then do 50 questions today. Do 25 in the evening, do 25 in the night. But if you can squeeze in another 25 to make it 75, you'll be in good shape. So what you want to see are minimum 5s and 6s on your UWorlds. You're doing pretty well. Like, you're where you need to be, even though there is room for improvement, because I've gotten as high as 8s or 10s out of 10s. I'm pretty strong in maternity. I do not want to work in maternity, but I understand it. So I would get like 8s and 10s, which is excellent. And I scored really high on maternity on my Hesi exit. Don't get discouraged and say, oh, I'm making 50 or 60%. I'm failing. No, UWorld is harder than Hesi questions. So you're doing good. Kaplan, most of your schools will have you do Kaplan, so that's really good practice. Kaplan's pretty difficult. If you have open lab, go to it. If you have the opportunity to sit in on some med-surg lectures, then do that. So your best grade, that's what I want to tell you guys, your best grade. I've heard testimonials for that. I did use it. People swear by it. I can do another review. I can go back and do like another video all about your best grade. Tell me how you do. Remember, Hesi 75, minimum 50 questions a day up until you get to your exit exam. And you'll run into videos where people say, oh, I did 4,000 questions. Well, good for them. But I have a friend who just took boards, and she studied for 2 weeks and did 75 questions a day and passed the boards. A lot of times it's not a knowledge issue, guys. It's understanding what the question is asking you. So I'm a firm believer in just knowing what the question is asking you, learning how to answer questions, whether they're asked 4 ways or a million different ways. Tell me if this helped you. All right, guys.